Right, another day, another dollar. We are Wednesday, very early morning. Gold broke out, of course, took out this 4,560 zone. Yesterday was a sideways day. Fair enough. It's not at all a bearish chart pattern. This wants to go higher. Gold is strong. And we have all the background to help, right? Monetary, fiscal, geopolitical. It's all ideal. Even the data from the Fed, not that that matters. Trump, like every speech he makes, is just, what is it, trying to threaten via the DOJ. Just from every angle, gold has a reason to keep going up. And some would say that's an excuse to sell. It's like perfect, but it's different. It's like, nah, this is what the fuel it needs for long-term continuation. So anyway, gold, here we are. New all-time high as per usual, 4,630 high of day. Looks like we want to go to I don't know, higher, 4,700. Not today, that's a bit too much maybe, but just higher. So that's still perfect, literally. I'm just wondering about the market rolling over because the market's a bit weak, but we don't even really care about the market. I was watching S&P versus the miners and golds. I don't know why I was looking at that. I used to look at it every day because it was correlated, but nah, there wasn't enough sort of link. So I'm just going to ignore that still for now. Silver. Yesterday, nice, right? It was actually green, unlike gold. And then today, just proving it wants to go basically to 100, test 100. So here we are, we're in the 90s today, right? We've already popped our head into the 90s, 91 actually. Jesus, Chinese are always buying overnight. There's no resistance, just like gold. Pick your number. I am selling into this move. I do think we're going to go test 100. I don't know if we're going to get there. Do we fail at 97? Do we fail now? No, because gold is looks like it wants to go a bit further. It's got a really good strong chart pattern. I don't think the dollar really matters, and I think the dollar goes down actually. Let's look at that real quick, DXY, because we can't really gauge where silver's going to go. Uh, Nothing, just broke down and it's actually already bounced, so maybe it goes back down. I mean, Trump's putting a lot of pressure on it. By the way, the S&P, could that have an effect on gold and silver, even though I don't think so? I mean, that's, just gone up, up, bit of a tight wedge, but I don't see it. Even if we start closing below here and we go down, that'll just sort of delay the day for one or two. Now, silver wants to go and obviously test 100. I'm selling into it in the minors because not a lot, but yesterday I started to trim, and since I have a difficult time, this is just a personal thing of mine. I have a difficult time scaling into the sales because I'm so used to my count as it was, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It kind of didn't really move that much, right? With gold and silver was sort of going sideways, a little bit up, a little bit down. But it's like the moves I get in P&L in one day are the moves I would get in months of being in the minors years ago. And I'm not used to just doing these heavy sells in terms of value, right? So I just do lots of little ones. In the end, it adds up. What I trimmed yesterday was like, I don't know, 3%, which is actually for me quite a bit because of the amount of cash I raised because it's worth so much. So what I want to do is every day just sell like 2.5, 3%. It probably means about 10% by the time I get to 100 in silver. If I do another sort of 2.5, 3% trim across the board, seniors, mid tiers, silver, even though they're underpriced, I know, even though earnings are going to be so good in Q4 report, like yesterday, silver was up, what, 7% or something? Well, that was at one point. Let's take a look. Yesterday, the open was there. No, sorry, I'm talking about the day before. So the open was here. At one point, we were sort of 6, 7%. Miners are up sort of 5%. CDE, I remember. So the miners are still underperforming. And so despite that, despite the earnings will get soon, that should revalue them way higher. I'm still trimming just because I didn't trim for this huge move, and I'm very happy about that. But the value is just too much. The weighting is too much. And I was thinking about it. If we go down, like it's just going to be such a massive P&L drop. And if I just cut enough, I can raise cash and buy back. And the usual stuff, right? Risk management. And I kind of confirm my own personal career success if I trim now, So that's what I'm doing in the last sort of 1 or 2 days. What are we now? Wednesday. Yeah, since Monday especially. I was like Monday, Tuesday, little trims. And I hope that we just go all the way up, test 100. We'll probably stop just before 100. And if we go all the way back down to like 85, because we could do that, right? We could just go, hey, let's bring 100 up. We could just go for it, and then it comes all the way back down, and obviously it goes hit support, and then who knows? Then we go back up and test and squeeze and go to 120, something crazy as gold goes towards 5,000, because it could easily do that, because because all the people who were buying last year are going to be buying this year, plus more people, plus more new central banks, and long term we keep going up. I'm staying in this sector because all the reasons I wanted to be in it before remain applicable. It's just there are other sectors, copper, um, uranium to some extent, all the metals, nickel, palladium, platinum, etc., etc. They're all, I don't want to say better values, but I want to put some more in there, let's say. And it's all about the ratio of the portfolio. All right, etc., etc. I'm trimming, right? It's not huge stuff. It's like before. I've trimmed before. I've trimmed into 54, 50. It's kind of the same thing there. I trimmed. It went a bit higher. I guess I forgot what I did, but I'm always trimming into what I think is clear resistance. And I think 100 is a psychological number. We've also gone up quite a lot, and I didn't trim in a while. So etc. Right, let's go straight to the miners because that's what I'm trimming. GDX and the miners. Okay, yesterday's candle's not great, and even the one before, right? I mean, they're not as good as gold and silver's candles. Um, at least they're going up, making new highs, new all-time high, but I don't like it. Um, but again, I've already covered that. We still go higher. If gold and silver are up, the miners go up. And I do think at one point when the earnings come out, they're going to go high. It's just when you look at, let me just jump a little bit. Just look at something like Heckler, right? This is the go-to stock, one of the go-to stocks. Yes, I mean, yes, look at that candle yesterday, by the way. What the absolute hell is that about? What is that about? Minus, I'll get to this. Minus 0.5% when silver was up the usual 2, 3, 4%. I forgot. What is that? And also, we're nearing absolute ridiculous resistance, right? 26. After that, yes, you got 36. That I guess that's for the $100 squeeze, above and beyond to 120. But look at this. We've come from here, right? From it doesn't even matter, from 4, 5 all the way to 25. And this is a big stock. This is not some small startup that's had crazy news and it's squeezing. And it's justified move. But I've got to take profit, man. And when you're underperforming, there's two things. It's either it wants to come down or wait until the metals drop, it will really crash, or it needs to go higher, it needs to be re-rated. And yeah, that's why I'm taking profit because the move has been crazy. And what if it wants to drop? Right, let's go back to the minus GDX. So not the best candle, but I think if the gains stay and if we do run, of course, to $100 in silver, this thing, I don't care what its plans are here. It just needs to be re-rated. Needs to go up. Next stop, 100, right? Where are we now? Yeah, I think that's clear. 3.5%. That's kind of what it averages on a big day. It should be more, even for GDX. GDXJ, same sort of close at low of day. It's also because of the S&P, actually. So that's why I'm watching the S&P and mentioning it a little bit. That's your new resistance and support, a little gap fill. Maybe they gap fill. I'd hate that, actually. Not all gaps need to be filled. It looks like it wants it, but if we end up higher at the open, I don't see us going down to close that gap. Weekly, oh no, there's no. Oh no, there is. Sorry, I forgot GDXJ. Right, zoom out. There's a lot. Little resistance here, 130/135. That's at least what I see. Maybe 135 before we go to 140, etc. Okay, well let's see. Let's at least take out yesterday's high of day, which we should do. So maybe 134, 135. Hmm, it's a bit of a move, isn't it? 5%. Let's get above 130, close above 130 on GDXJ. That'd be okay. SIL, well, we finally took out the all-time high there. So no need to zoom out anymore. Good. It's just GDXJ left. Close at low of day, just like everything else, but we're still closing above that sort of 94 zone. Let's see if we can get to 100. Not today. That's going to be a bit too much. Even though silver taking out $100, honestly, should justify a 6% move even before. I think we should be trading above 100 on SIL before 100 on silver. You see what I mean? But it'll probably equal that about the same time, knowing how weak the miners are. Maybe we do just need to wait for need to wait for quarters, like these earnings to come out. Maybe that's what it is. All right, SILJ. Um, Same thing, closing the low of day. At least it's above 32, 34. Yeah, same thing. Right, portfolio. I Newmont really outperformed. Close a high of day, even though it's only up 1.5%, but gold was actually red. And I don't know if this is a level. I think it might be. I think it might be. Well, it's closed above it, so if it was, it's irrelevant. And you can't zoom out anymore because everything's gone. That's literally the last trend line I could find. Just desperation for the maybe for the bears, but just further encouragement for the bulls. This just wants to go up maybe 120. Follow GDX. Very strong. Newmont, very good. And long term, again, it's earnings. Not that I know much about all these companies and all this stuff, but what I hear from people who are way better than me, they're just printing money, right? And I think most companies are, but this one is a solid beast. So a clear hold. Barrick, same thing. Here we do have resistance. The last, no, it's this one here. Yeah, 50. Oh yeah, I trimmed that. Yes. Oh yeah, I trimmed all of them. I'm not even gonna bother saying whether I trimmed the one or not. I trimmed basically every stop. And at one point, I just did a like a little sell across the board, and I didn't even care what the price was because it's quite such a small sell that whether I sell here or 2% higher is not much different. I just did trim across the board, and I was just raising cash. And I actually started to look up if I could make a hotkey on my trading keyboard just to, but I had difficulty. Anyway, so I trimmed Newmont, I trimmed all of them. Barrick, I actually had a limit sell also at 49.99, obviously, so that hit. And I did a little sell on top. So yesterday I trimmed. Next stop 56, very clear. There might be a little stop off here at 53, but it's made such a dart all the way up. It might as well complete the move. It's huge, man. Okay, yeah, from 20 to 50. I guess it's not a crazy move. It's double and a half, but it just looks really impressive, doesn't it? And it stands out. So it might as well complete it, and it will. And after that, I'll make new highs and then keep going. That's the future of Barrick. More of the same. Agnico, beautiful, finally getting strong again. Look at that closing there, outperforming like most of the others, even silver, despite silver being up and gold being down. Pretty weird, actually. The gold stocks did better than the silver stocks, even though gold was red, silver was green by quite a bit. That's a bit weird, isn't it? Perfect, a big number. So even though Barrick hit its 50 number, Agnico was 200. I had an automatic trim at 199.99. That got triggered, obviously. Next one, Pan American Silver, even though that's a silver stock. Um, yeah, closed unchanged, closed at low of day. It's like the silver stocks were following GDX and the gold stocks were following silver. It's a bit weird. It looks like it wants to close the gap, but sorry, we're up and we're going to new all-time highs. As of this moment, we're at 90.5 on the silver. So you're just going to have to open up and run despite these terrible candles. Pisses me off, to be honest. Like, come on, guys. I thought we were over this. I thought we started to recover, here. Remember this? We had these terrible days here, right? I'm just going to pick on Wheaton, even though it's not really a silver stock, but they make a lot of money on silver, royalties or whatever. These little candles, this is when things were going up and the miners were just refusing to participate. Bastards. Then We had this turn of event. It's a new year, it's a new day. And then they started to outperform, even though the metals, I think the metals were weak or, like we started red and we closed a high day, closed a high day, and then we just started to break out. I thought we were over. And then the last sort of 2 days, maybe I'm getting this wrong a little bit, but the last 2 days we've reverted to this, like let's underperform again. This is a fun, some sort of a joke. All right, anyway, Wheaton, I need to delete this crap. Wheaton, pretty good. I guess that falls under the sort of seniors more than the silver stocks, even though they make a lot of money from silver stocks. But that closed near high of day, new all-time high, up almost 2%. That's cool. Franco Nevada, this one I trimmed all of them. Franco Nevada, very nice close, nearing 240. Looks set to run. Like this looks just like the gold chart. Just looks set to keep going onwards to 250. It's inevitable. It's like a mathematical formula. It goes up because we are making so much money. Up we go. Metalla stalling a little bit here. How can you not break out? Like gold has just made new highs, wants to run, already confirmed it. Silver, same thing. Like why can't you close above 860 and run to 9? You've had a nice move, but just you're supposed to be in this area heading towards 11. Hmm. I trimmed that one also yesterday. Makes me want to trim some more. Maybe I'll place a little sell here again, just in case it fails. Because if the rally fizzles and we just go back for a healthy correction to retest, blah, 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 silver gets to 97 or 98, and then sort of I want to drop back down to 85. What happens to these types of stocks that just, you know, that maybe it gets to just 8.8 and then just comes down, bam, it wants to go to 6. Because if I get to sell as I'm doing, because I sell when I think it's going to go down, but I know long term we go up, or I think. Um, but if I'm able to catch a drop and I sell a decent amount and then I buy back, that will just solidify my success even faster. And I'm not trying to be cute and risky. It's just I'm selling because I'm trimming 5, 10% max in total, just because the risk management is just too heavy. If something goes wrong, unpredictable, just in general, I need to rotate that capital elsewhere and I need to keep some cash, man. Okay, metallic gives me the impression I need to trim certain stocks, such as itself. I am gold. Well, that closed the gap. It's unnecessary. Down 2%. Any news? No. I guess it was following gold, but yeah, a bit surprised. But it's not the worst. It did hit resistance at 18, right? Not really. That wasn't really resistance. It used to be there, 1770. All right, well, now it's there. Next stop, 21. Another one that's just gone vertical. Don't like it. Like, it's nice to have been in it to go vertical, but the money's made now. Now, if gold wants to keep going up, sorry. I am gold, should just rise with gold. Keep it simple. I trimmed and I hold the rest. Equinox proving clear resistance at 15. Close at low of day. Okay, just following gold, I guess. B2 gold. This one I got a sell at 479 yesterday. Yeah, I wanted to get rid of some at 479. Missed it before, didn't do it before. Did it this time and look at that, closed like 459, 460. Pathetic. But I have been convinced by a few to hold for a longer move. It's like one of the cheapest mid tiers and long term Rick Rule, etc. So I did a small trim. Everything was a small trim, man. There was just one or two small trims, but this is still small stuff. But I'm gonna hold for a bit longer this one, and it's not worth that much compared to the others. So there are no more sells for B2 Gold. If it goes down, good because I can buy back, but bad because it means everything else is going down. This one I'm gonna hold for the bigger move. Harmony. That's a shame. I was looking at Harmony yesterday when it was in the 22s, high 22s. 23 is your resistance. This should be support. Another gap here. I don't think we're gonna do that unless gold drops. But that's cool. Harmony in the 23, touching 23, clearing 22, even though we closed at 22. It's nice. It's done a nice move. And I was buying this down here. I was looking, my average was like 13s, high 13s or something. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? 1384. You know? And I'm like, Jesus, we're almost in the 100% zone already. Um, so that's cool. Following gold, Aris mining. This one I also trimmed. Harmony I didn't trim. It's still not 6 months. Aris mining I did. Forgot what it was. I'm not going to bring it up. There's like 30 trades yesterday. It's probably around 1750 to be honest. This one looks like it wants to go higher, right? Compared to some other gold stocks that had a bad day. This one had a unchanged type of day and made a new all-time high, new 52-week high. 1850 is resistance for that one. That would be a gap fill, but I don't know how dependable these resistance lines are for such a weird sort of period. Right, let's look at our SBSW. This one is really, even though it was up only 2%, and it closed near low of day, this one is reaching it at 20. I was looking, a lot of people are really happy with SBSW and claiming that they were in. I was completely in SBSW here, completely. I even stopped buying on low three, so I was like, Jesus, it might go down to twos. And it is done, obviously, in less than a year, this ridiculous move. Like there's a few of them, right? Even Aris Mining I just looked at. This is wild. Let me just exaggerate it. From the bottom to the top, 500%. It'll probably be 500% by the time it gets there. It's gonna get to 20. But when it does, yes, Platinum Palladium can keep going and it should go up. I think I might just close the position. Like if you're ever gonna close a position, even though you think it might keep going, it might as well be something like this that just completes the move. And it actually does it a bit faster than it should. I was expecting the curl to take a bit longer. Things are moving faster in general now, but this is just darted higher. And I mean, this is the last resistance, 18.5 or something. We almost touched, we're getting towards this last resistance here before the very final one. So I trimmed SBSW yesterday because I'm treating it like a bit of a gold stock, and platinum palladium go up together with gold. So I sold some, but I'm like, geez, I'm gonna have a lot because I'm always doing small trims. I was like, all right, there's one more trim here, and after that, the position is still huge, and I'm gonna have to muster the mental power to just close a position, all of the rest of the shares. Anyway, that's still for another day. Right, silver stocks. God damn annoying me, these silver stocks. You know, it's like opens nicely, starts to run, and then it just closes at low of day, and the whole day you're looking at the price and you're just disappointed even though you've made money. Um, right, First Majestic, it's true we have moved higher. We're starting to hit 20s. We're still trading kind of in the 20s. Next stop is up here. I mean, at this point, oh my God. If silver gets to 100 or runs towards 100, we should be trading between 23 and 27, right? Because even if it's weak, it's still going to do its little gap up, close low, run fine, but it's still going to be like here, if you see what I mean. It should be higher. Don't get me wrong, it should be in the 30s already. But this is realistically where you can expect it. And there's resistance here you got. So not only is it kind of weak, the silver stocks in general are ready to give back straight away, unfortunately, but you've also got, this place, no point in me doing this, but and this place. So it's gonna get extra resistance. So I'm gonna have to set some 22.89 cells, some 23.99. And if it starts to run here, there's probably something crazy going on. But still, I'll sell out of principle. 26.99. Trim, trim, trim. And even after the sells, it'll be worth more than it's worth right now, the usual stuff. Um, but if I feel like silver's gonna top off, then if it's getting toppy, then I'll definitely trim a bit more. And I'll still hold a core position because long term, I think silver, the dynamics haven't changed, supply, demand, etc., and inflation. But yeah, I still think it's going to go higher despite the weakness and despite how much it's run. And despite the terrible close, right? Does it want a gap fill? It depends. If silver goes down before the open, then we'll straight away gap fill. And maybe it gets this out of its system. Maybe there's a bit of poison and it needs to just puke it out like all of them. But I don't want that. I don't care about this gap. I want to gap and run. CDE, same bloody thing, -3%. Sorry, just want to make sure I got this right. Silver, reset the chart. How much were you up yesterday? Right? Even though you gave back a little bit, you were up officially almost 2%. Okay, just wanted to make sure I got that right. -3 on CD. Son of a bitch. All right, this one, only one resistance. It's obviously 23.50, right? So 23.49. Yes, I have a sell already. I trimmed this one, even though I think it belongs way higher, etc., etc. I still trimmed it all across the board. I did the same thing. 23.49, I still have a sell after that. I leave it. I've got no other sells, but the next one would be 25 and then 30. Jesus Christ. I do expect us to be at 25 or higher before $100 silver. Maybe it will run, maybe it will return to its old ways and start to run actually as silver hits 100. And maybe silver goes straight through 100. Then they go crazy. Then they all go crazy. That'd be brilliant. I'd love to make a live video when that happens. Heckler. Yeah, you know. Still though, didn't go down that much. It's pathetic though. It's pathetic. Sorry, down 0.5% when silver's up 2. But compared to some other silver stocks, I guess it did all right. But look at that. It did have at one point hitting 25.5, and then you got that 26 we looked at earlier. That's clear resistance, so that's cool. EXK, god damn. Yeah, okay, you got your resistance at 1150, but still, this should be at 13. Clear 13. It's like one of the last ones that hasn't hit new all-time highs. Come on. It's gonna get there. 13 for $100 silver. It's pathetic. It should be higher than that already. But looks like that's what's needed for some of them. And then we'll report Q4 earnings and then maybe they'll start to do some catch up. Look, it's a long video. I'm very sorry. The silver stock, the juniors, by the way, were even worse. I'm not gonna go through all of them. Oh, Jesus, wrong stock. But I saw worse percentage points. But they did the same thing. Yeah, look at that. Was higher, came down. Um, oh yeah, IS silver, by the way. I always ignore that one. I've got a lot in this one. And I've basically doubled my position. Another one where I was like, wait a minute, my average is 1373. Makes sense. Got in late. And we're almost at 26 kind of. I was like, Jesus, that's awesome. Almost 100%. This one also came down. That's a big gap jump. Jesus. I hope it doesn't go around filling gaps there. And I think there's no resist. That just keeps going up. That's a good one. SSV, Southern Silver. What about that one? I mean, it's still within pattern, right? Nothing's changed. And anyway, who cares about the pattern and the juniors? They just, when they get their own news, they run. And when silver moves, they're supposed to run. But I don't know why this one decided to go down 6, 7% yesterday when silver was up 2%. Jag, God, I'm doing all of them real quick. Oh, that closed the gap. I really hope they all don't want to close their own gaps because some of them have to drop quite a bit for that. This should be going towards 11 still. It'll get there this year. Um, God, I forgot some of these. I got Tudor Gold. What did that do? Nothing special. Supposed to keep going up. Galway Metals. Nothing sideways. That's kind of why I didn't want to cover it. Kootenay. But all the people I follow on Twitter basically have these stocks. I feel like I'm in good company. Sideways. Exelon. Another one where I realized my average is way lower. Pretty down 5%. And finally, GSVR, the one that's supposed to go parabolic as silver does. Well, here we are, man. We're in the 90s, 100 this week, next week. If you want to make a move, what are you waiting for? 1,000 silver. All right, I'll end it there. We're up again, but I hope we don't fall back to this pattern where miners are up at the open and we just sort of slowly go down and we underperform because it's nice to know that silver miners are underperforming and no, it's not nice to know. It's nice to know that they're undervalued and they're still a good hold and a good buy actually. But I was hoping to sell, take profit along with silver hitting it 100 and like making good money and then looking to buy back. But at this point, I gotta hesitate. I'm like, do I really sell because they're underperforming and they're undervalued, relatively speaking? But no, I'm still gonna trim into this $100 silver move, even though I think gold can go higher for a bit longer. I'll just do the wise thing, which I've learned to do over the years, which is to trim. And if it goes up, great, you're making a lot of money. If it goes down, cool, you kind of sold. You can buy back what you trimmed and then add more. Um, it's just a bit annoying. It's just a bit annoying, right? Anyway, let's see what happens, and I hope silver does run to 100. Let's at least do that. Good luck.